Plane tells the story of an airliner that crash lands on a war-torn island. The passengers are taken hostage by local rebels, but it's all good. Jared Butler is a badass pilot who's ready to save the day. So Plane was advertised as a throwback to cheesy 90s action flicks, but it's actually a lot more grounded and slow-paced than you'd think. It takes about 50 minutes for any type of fight scene to begin, but I wasn't fussed. I loved how Plane took its sweet time developing the characters and situation, rather than skipping past it all to give us action scenes. We get some solid exposition and development for Jared Butler and his co-pilot, and I enjoyed it. The details of Jared Butler having a daughter and a deceased wife didn't really do much for the plot, but it added some nice color to his character, and unsurprisingly, as usual, Butler gave a fantastic performance here. He just chewed up this role, and you can tell he's having fun when shooting. He's easily the best part of Plane, and his character was layered, has integrity, and he's a badass but also vulnerable. I wish I could say the same thing about the passengers, because they were a bit too shallow and annoying at times. They mainly felt like a plot device to show us how compassionate Jared Butler's character is. Still, it worked and I wasn't put off. I also appreciated how the plane crash itself lasted quite a while. It's not like Butler hits his head and wakes up on the island, it actually takes you through every step of the way, and I thought that whole scene was nerve-wracking. And eventually the first real action scene kicks in. It's this fight scene between Jared Butler and this grunt, and it was badass. It's shot in one take, which I've always had a soft spot for, and the camera angle just flips all over the place with their bodies. It looks so real and rough. It must have seriously hurt these guys shooting it. Like, thank God Jared Butler lost all of that weight he gained with Den of Thieves, because this shit looked exhausting, man. Plane was ticking all of my boxes. But after that first fight scene, the quality dipped drastically. Plane became exactly what it was advertised as, a cheesy action film. Not only did it contradict the realistic grounded tone of the first half, but I was also bored watching it all. I just wasn't scared of the rebel soldiers. They felt too Hollywood for my liking. Plus the camera always turned away whenever they killed someone, so it all kind of felt a bit too PG. They didn't feel realistic at all. There's also this B-plot where the government hire mercenaries to help Jared Butler as the National Guard make their way to them. And these mercenaries were bland, hollow, and they're the sole reason why the action scenes became forgettable after that first awesome fight scene. And that's because most of these action scenes consist of nameless mercenaries shooting at nameless, unintimidating bad guys. None of it was shot particularly well. We've seen it all before and it didn't feel realistic. Now before they turned up, it kind of felt like Die Hard on an island. A limited supply of good guys outnumbered and trying to survive. But imagine if a load of hollow, thin mercenaries came to help John McClane. It would take the magic away from Die Hard, right? Well, that's exactly what happened here. But not all was lost in this last half. Mike Coulter as the criminal was badass and had some decent chemistry with Jared Butler, and during all of these uninspired action scenes, at least Butler's character always felt vulnerable. He never turned into an action archetype with over-the-top ninja fighting skills or one-liners. He remained brilliant throughout the whole thing. Plus, the last 5 minutes were surprisingly powerful. So powerful, in fact, it does kind of feel out of place considering all of the crazy over-the-top shit that preceded it. Still, I was swept up in it. There's some great acting and emotions there. So, in the end, I do think Plane is worth watching if you want some escapist entertainment. But there are conflicting tones. You might enjoy the slow first half for its grounded nature like me, but then hate the second half for its uninspired cheese. Or vice versa, you might hate the slow first half but love the rest of the exciting shit. Hopefully you'll enjoy it all, but sadly I did not. Either way, I think it is worth watching and finding out for yourself where you land. Jared Butler alone is worth a ticket. Thanks to him, I'm going to add an extra 0.5 to my rating. I'm going to give Plane a 5.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay jiggy. The better appreciates you.